All right, gentlemen, how are we doing? Everybody doing all right? Thank you so much for joining us. You are live right here on Mastermind for Men. My name is Kendrick, and I'm glad to be here. Hope that your week is going okay. I hope that you are having an amazing time off, holiday with the family, with the kids, enjoying summer. My goodness, it's almost finished, isn't it? It's almost done. We are pretty much at the end of August. Um, And I hope that you had a good rest for those of us who managed to have one. Um, thank you. Um, Let me just close here. But I'm excited to be here once again, and we are going to continue our conversation talking about change and the foundations of change and why it is important for us to kind of like have an understanding of change and what happens when we go through difficult change and what can we look out for. And over the past few weeks, when we were kind of like looking at the foundations of change, there's quite a few bits that we've touched on. So we're just going to continue with that. So one of the first things that we spoke about was self-reflection. Why is it important for us to take some time out to reflect? Um, Sometimes we can just continue to run. You don't stop. You say, Kendrick, I can't stop. Time is against me. And we don't take time out to reflect, but it is important for us to do so. And we also looked at why it's important for us to be open to change. Um, because you can lock yourself down and say, I refuse for change to come into my life, into my house, into my world, into my environment. No, I refuse to change. I do not want to change. And we kind of like shut ourselves down. But it's crucial for us to be open to change. If change shows up at work, how do you handle that when change shows up in the world like it has showed up over the past few years, especially 2020 onwards? How do you embrace it? Are you open to it, or are you fighting it with every part of your being and say, this is not for me, this is not from the Lord? And you just fight the change, in whichever way you can. But we have to be open. We have to be open to change. We looked at emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Are you in charge of your emotions? Are you allowing your emotions to run around like a wild horse? If you feel like this today, you will let everybody know. If you're feeling sad today, everybody around you will know. If you're feeling whichever emotion that you are in, everybody around you will know, and you act on that emotion. I guess there's nothing wrong to act on the emotion, but don't let it run out of control. That's the main thing. But if you've missed any of the sessions, obviously it's been recorded. It's out there on our platform. You can always go back and listen to it. Let me just make sure that we are doing okay with sound. Um, uh, Yes, we are doing okay with sound. Yes, we are indeed. All right, and one of the other bits we spoke about was having a support system. Uh, Support system is very very important. Who are you surrounded with, and uh, during this time of change, are you able to speak to the right people? Are you in the right kind of environment? because it's key. It's key because we are a product of our environment. We are where we are, what we are, because of what we expose ourselves to. Um, so that's um, having a support system is very important because you during change, during a time of change, because what we will go through, um, sometimes it will be too big for us to handle. But if you have the right kind of people around you, then maybe we'll get out on the other side okay. We might just get out on the other side okay. All right, today what we're going to do today, we're going to touch on and talk about the importance uh, of um of communication during a time of change and rapid growth. Um, whether my communication, whether my communication skills, or what is the barriers maybe that I might face during change, in my communication with those around me. Just think about it in this way: when you and I, whenever we are going through a challenging time, uh, which is a period of growth, sometimes our our level of communication, or the way we communicate to those around us, will determine how we will go through what we are going through in terms of change and growth. Um, uh, because it's maybe a hard time, you may be shouting at everybody because you maybe I can't handle it, or whatever the case might be. But just let's look at a couple of things um, that may come up during change, but in terms of communication, because there are several negative factors um, that can hinder effective communication during a period of change in the life of us as men. Let's look at a few of them, and just see what we can get from it. One of the first things that you will see, maybe that will pop up, is stress and anxiety. Um, because when we are going through change, our level of stress, and our level of anxiety is like anything can just let you go. Your stress levels just through the roof, um, because high levels of stress, it and anxiety can disrupt the clear thinking. Um, and when we are having high levels of stress, and we are anxious about everything, the wife is making you anxious, the finance is making you anxious, you're anxious about the children, about the business, about the job, and you are not thinking clearly, and that can kind of like hinder how you communicate, how you and I, uh, you know, respond to people around us. So it's important for us to keep. If you know, I'm sure by now, hopefully, if you've been doing some self-reflection, you know when you are stressed. I should know when I'm stressed, when I'm anxious. Not only should your body tell you, but you should just know by your behavior. I should just know if I'm behaving in this way, it means I am stressed out. It means I'm anxious about something. I might not be very clear what I'm anxious about, but I must be at a place where I can recognize. All right, alarms are going off, Kendrick. Just watch out for your communication, because right now you are stressed, you are anxious. You might say something that will hurt those around you. You've got to look out for that. And I guess there are different things that you and I can do to reduce those stress levels. Because sometimes life is moving so fast. There's so much of demand on us as men. There's so much required of us to do, just being pulling in all kind of different directions. And everybody wants results. Everybody wants you to deliver. Everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody know what I'm talking about. uh, and but you gotta know when you are finding yourself in that place. What do you do? Where do you go? What do you engage in? Because uh, remember, if we respond or react during a time of stress or when we are overwhelmed or anxious, uh, it can cause a lot of damage. It can cause us to say something to somebody that we didn't really mean, because you were just anxious. You were just stressed out. If I can talk for myself, I know when I'm stressed out and how I behave around the kids. I can't tolerate them. It's very. I have to consciously tell myself, all right, watch your tone, how you speak to the kids, uh, uh, because you can just snap and you say something, and you can scar them, and these are kind of like things that they can carry for years to come. So I don't know at what level you see this as an important thing, but I think it is crucial for us to know how to carry ourselves when we go uh, through stressful periods during this time of change and growth. So go for a run, go for a walk, go cycling, or read a book, or I don't know what do you do when you are stressed out? Suck on a lolly. Hey, good evening, sir. Good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us, bro. Um, really good to have you jumping on. Uh, I think it might be Monet. I can't see the name. Well, let me know if it's you, Mr. Rabi, please. Thank you. Uh, but yeah, so let's pay attention to that. Um, and I think when you and I are unaware of how to handle stress and anxiety, sometimes, in fact, if we don't learn how to handle that in private, say for example within the house, because remember our household is where we practice, is where you and I learn to posture ourselves and grab hold of ourselves. Listen, Kendrick, you can't behave like, no, it's just my family, I can do it. No, we're supposed to learn how to carry ourselves in an appropriate way under levels of stress and anxiety uh, within the house. Because if I can't do it in the house, how? Because I might take that outside to your business world, or at the job or wherever, and then suddenly I might think I can just speak to anybody in any way, and they just need to understand. No, Kendrick is stressed out. No, they won't tolerate that. People won't tolerate that. It's either you become uh, you will be known as somebody that is moody, or maybe somebody that is rude, and people will start labeling you just because I did not know how to carry myself appropriately, how to, even though uh, I'm pedaling like hard underneath here like a duck, but I'm cool. You gotta be cool on top. Cool on top. It doesn't matter how hot it becomes in it, whatever it is that you are carrying. Um, yeah, just gotta learn how to manage that. Man, if you need to go and see a therapist, go see a therapist, my friend. If you need to go and seek some kind of support, if if that is kind of like just getting out of hand, find some kind of help. Last week we did say it's not an embarrassment to scream help. It's not. It's a place of it's a sign of strength, because somebody, you've got to be strong enough to say, listen, yeah, I can't carry this. Can somebody help me, please? That requires some level of maturity and some level of strength. Hey, Mr. Rabi, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, I thought it was you. Uh, yes, indeed. You gotta rein myself. Rein yourself in like a horse. Exactly. And just kind of like thinking about it, um, because sometimes our emotions can run wild like a wild horse. And just think about a horse that is wild and untamed. It's unpredictable. It's dangerous. Uh, even though you can ride it, you can ride the same horse, but if it's out of control, it means you can fail to get to your destination, because maybe that emotion, or that place of whatever you're experiencing in the form of anxiety or stress, because then you can use that kind of energy to get you to go somewhere. uh, because some people, let me put it in this way, some people work better under stress. If the pressure is on, give it to Kendrick. If the pressure is on, give it to Mr. Ravi, because the guy can move, because the pressure is on, the stress is on. Um, so when you are stressed out or when you're anxious, it does not necessarily mean that it's a negative thing. It is how you harness that. Is how you, like, I love the horse example. Is how you can take that, and you just rein it in a little bit. Say, all right, this is where we are going. I know that the stress levels are high, but we still gotta go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's just how it is, and we gotta make sure that we don't hold back, because I'm stressed out, I'm anxious. No, I know I am, because as a man we are built to be able to carry that. Um, but let's get even from a scripture point of view. God is the one that carries our burden, isn't it? So if you're at a place where you feel like you are overwhelmed and you are stressed out, it means you are trying to carry that thing yourself. No, put it on him. Put it on him. Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And the next one that I think uh, that we need to look out for is. All right, before I move on, so please do identify what will help you to reduce, what will help to reduce your stress levels. If you know you need to go for a run, maybe you just need to sit down somewhere on your favorite chair and just breathe. Just smell the air around you and just breathe, and just be in the moment and tell yourself it's going to be okay. The world is not coming to an end. This situation that you're going through, it's not going to break you. All right. The next one is a lack of confidence. Um, when we when we when we are at a place of low self confidence, it can cause us to hesitate to express ourselves, um, or share our ideas. Remember, now we are talking about factors that can hinder effective communication. Um, when I lack confidence, because the thing is, people can see confidence. You know, so if I communicate with a lack of confidence, because of low self-esteem, or just a low level of confidence in general, Number one, I'm not going to express myself in the way that I want to express myself. You won't share your ideas. You kind of like will hold back. Um, it kind of like make me think back on this law, which is one of the laws of growth, which talk about. It talks about that you and I will only be able uh, to express ourselves in the way that we see ourselves. So, which means I gotta know who I am. Excuse me. You see, the image that I have of myself, I will be able to express this. I will be able to express that to those around me. So, which means if I have a low uh, self-esteem, if my level of confidence is low, uh, there are certain there are it will show to everyone around me. It doesn't matter. You might be able to hide it for a little bit, but eventually it will show up because it's called the law of the mirror. Uh, I can't look one way outside and reflect something different within a mirror. No, uh, whoever I am. That's what will show. That's how people will perceive me. That's how uh, they will treat you. That's how they will speak to you. Just based on how you uh, project yourself on the outside. Um, so that's why it's more important for us to work on who we are on the inside, so that we can communicate that. Remember, now we are talking about hindrance to effective communication during a time of change. So even though I'm in the midst of a difficult time, if I go inwards, if I pay attention uh, uh, to what's happening on the inside of me, then confidence will come. Why? Because I'm self-aware. I know exactly. All right, this is what's happening. But regardless of what is happening, this is who I am. So I'm expressing who I am, not based on what's going on in my life, but based on knowing who I am as a person. Because remember now, my circumstances, what I am, what I'm going through, does not dictate who I am. I'm just going through something. Um, but I will not be able to project that with confidence if I uh, if I am unsure of who I am. Um, that will kind of like show maybe a low self confidence, um, and I just hold back. It's like, oh, okay, I can't say that. Why? Because I'm shy. Nobody get the. I always say to my children, there is no place for shy people in the world. The world will run over shy. If you shy, no, rather shine. Don't be shy. No, but obviously all of us we are on different levels. That's why the most important gift that you and I can give to ourselves is work on discovering who we are. Know yourself. Continue to dig in and understand why you are the way you are, why you think the way you're thinking, and just explore yourself so that you are not you don't surprise yourself when you find yourself out there in the world. It's like, oh, who am I? And everybody else starts to tell you, oh, this is who can do this. No, I know who I am. No, you see, but sometimes there's a very fine line between uh, confidence. There's a very fine line between confidence and being cocky. People don't like cockiness. They hate somebody that is kind of like, um, uh, full of themselves. I don't know if you ever come came across anybody like that. It's like the guy is just like way out there. It's like, but I guess it's you finding the balance. It's me finding the balance because this truth I know. Unless you and I find our inner voice and knowing uh, our identity, of course, our identity is in Christ. Because where would your confidence come from? Um, but I guess there are different ways that you and I can look at it. Know what it is that you're good at, and where you can add value to others. Because you know how that, for example, is one thing that will boost your confidence, because you got something to give. You don't have to walk through life apologizing to anybody or everybody. uh, and Yeah, but as I said, that it's a very fine line. It's kind of like having to get it right and treat it as an art, where you can say something with confidence without sounding arrogant. That's work, isn't it? That's work. Because I'll tell you why I say that's work. Because some I'm a work in progress, and and obviously the people that knows me best are those that I'm living with. And sometimes my wife will ask me, "Why are you so arrogant?" Then I just tell myself, "Sweet Lord Jesus, Kendrick, you got work to do. Because if your wife thinks that you are ignorant, not sorry, not ignorant, why are you so arrogant? God help me. I don't want to be ignorant. Because ignorance is our greatest enemy. Gentlemen, listen, don't be ignorant." If you are ignorant, oh sweet Lord, there's a price to pay for every ignorance. There's a price to pay. But we're not talking about ignorance right now. We are talking about, don't let people confuse confidence with arrogance. All right. So that's work that needs to go into that. All right. Um, let's do this one. But before we move on, so there are ways that you and I can build our confidence, which is important, because we don't just want to stay at the same level. You can do maybe some self affirmation. Because listen, maybe somebody saying, you're talking about that self talk kind of. Listen, if you don't talk to yourself, if I don't talk to myself, if somebody else will talk to you, and their voice is going to be louder in your ears than your own voice. No, look in the mirror. Say, "Hey, Kendrick, straighten up, boy." No, we don't chicken out. We don't buckle under trouble. We don't cave in when things are going. Things are hard and things are kind of like challenging. No, straighten up, man. You can do this. You can do this. Why are you doubting yourself? It's important for you to make sure that you speak to yourself in the right way. Why? Because your voice, that inner voice, man, is a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. Um, uh, One of the other things that you can also do to boost your confidence, uh, just 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 get some constructive feedback. From people that you trust. That's important. Set achievable goals. There's nothing more powerful when you set a goal and you achieve that goal. You say, "Oof, I did it, and I can do it again. All right, what's next? Let's move on." But if I kind of like just drag myself, "Oh, what's gonna happen today?" No, my friend, don't do that. It's important for us to make sure that we set some achievable goals. All right. Um, the next one, I think it's also very important, is a fear of judgment. A fear of judgment. That's really something that can either make us or break us. Kendrick, why do you say it can make us or break us? Because number one, you can't control people. You can't. You can't control people. You can't control what people are thinking about you. It doesn't matter how hard you try to change things, the way your behavior, whatever. If somebody has made up their mind about you, um, for some people, they will just know this is who Kendrick is, and they will judge you just maybe based on self impressions, maybe just by the way you look, by the way that you talk, the way that you talk, the way that the way that you walk. Uh, who knows why people judge? But the fear of judgment, it's where the work comes in for you and I, um, because the fear of being judged by others, it kind of like what we can call, it leads to a self censorship. It's like you you are reluctant to open up. You are holding back. Uh, Number one, your voice is not being heard. Why? Because if I say something, maybe somebody will say something negative. Oh, that's a terrible idea. Why you sound like that? Uh, I don't know. People just judge us on all kind of different things, isn't it? Uh, But if our work it lies here. I don't care what you think. That's the way. That's the way you and. All right, but obviously you do care what people think in a way, because when you bring out something, you want to bring it out in the best way. So what people think is important, but I'm talking about from a judging perspective, saying that I don't care how you. Just the thing is, as long as you and I make sure that we bring our best, that's key. Because if I know I'm bringing my best and I'm delivering, uh, whatever, whether it's a service or whatever it is, to the best possible quality, uh, and from the right motive, uh, you know, have I have peace with whatever it is that I'm doing, then I don't care what you think. I had to freeze there for a second. Did you see that? Oh my goodness. Oh, listen here, gentlemen. It's the world we live in is ruthless. It's ruthless. And the thing is, we cannot continue to put a weight on ourselves by worrying or being concerned about what people think, because you can't control what people think about you, uh, in a way. Uh, if they have a negative feel about you, then you can try to do things that will change their mind. But I feel personally that will just be a waste of time, because um, I believe there's a certain kind of energy that somebody will give off. They will say, "Oh, we are kind of like in the same level in terms of we're connecting nicely." And there are certain people you just kind of like you feel like this. When you meet somebody, you feel like you've known them for years. uh I don't know whether you guys ever come across that. It's like you will just kind of like connect with somebody in such an amazing way. It's like you meet them for the first time, but the energy that is between the two of you, it's like you're our bros for the past 10 years. You're talking like, and it's like just that's amazing. But then there are people that you and I will meet. It's like, oh, this is just off. Why? Just by the way the guy looks at me, it feels like he's judging me. I don't know if you guys ever experienced that. And I think that is kind of like it's not so much something that people can, um, it's something that has been developed over years. A judging mentality. You didn't just get up one morning and just starting judging people. It's like, it's, I think it comes from a place where you think you are better than other people, maybe based on your education, uh, the color of your skin, uh, the numbers in your bank account, who your mama and your daddy is. So you kind of like level people up, like, all right, this is where you are, this is where I am. So I'm judging you based on from my perspective. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. But I think get out of the fear trap. Don't allow people to put you in a place where you are scared of being judged. It's like, judge me, my friend. Judge me. I'm here. Judge me. It's just where we are in terms of where the world is, isn't it? It's like, with social media and all of that, everybody has an opinion. You can't control people's opinion. You just gotta get on with your thing and just deal with it. I think I'm sitting on this for too long, but I hope it's making sense. You gotta break through that, because if I'm scared of being judged by people, I will shut myself down. I know, and it's something that you have to work on a continuous basis. Just work on it all the time. Work on it. Work on it. I love you, but you know what? You see, remember that we were talking about the arrogant part of the. In certain instances, you have to come across arrogant. I don't care what you think. Why you want to judge me? Well, judge me then, my friend. What? What? How am I gonna die? Even right now, somebody only is judging me. I can't just get on. Just calm down, my friend. Just calm down. But it's good practice. Put yourself even in environments that you feel like you are going. Go in where you think you don't belong. Go in there and just like, all right, straighten yourself up and just walk in there like you belong. Yeah. Like, what are you gonna judge me based on how I look, how I sound? What's your problem? Oh, sweet Lord. Anyway, but it's a good one to work on. It's a good one to work on, where you just don't care, man. You just don't care. Even though the way I'm putting it might sound negative, uh, but if you use it in the right way, it can help you a lot, because otherwise you'll be carrying around a lot of baggage. Oh, what is John thinking about me? What is Paul thinking about me? No, I don't care. That's right. Let's move on to the next one before it gets a little bit too intense. Let's move on. Let's move on. All right. But we still need to see how can you overcome it. Uh, to overcome the fear of judgment is cultivate a growth mindset. Just be growth minded. I'm getting better. All right, you continue to judge me, but I know I'm getting better. I'm improving. I'm not where I used to be. I know I'm not where I want to be right now in terms of the way I sound, or the way I present myself, or the way what I do, or where I live, or what I drive, or because people judge you on all this fickle stuff that is just useless. But I'm not where I was, but I'm also not what I need to be. I'm like in between. I'm on my way. I'm on a journey, and I'm getting there. So please just stop judging me. All right. Uh, so just have a growth mindset, and just kind of like remind yourself as often as possible that growth involves making mistakes. Because if you are gentle on yourself and you allow yourself to make mistakes without the fear of judgment, uh, then you and I will be okay. In fact, a good place to start is just judge yourself, um, because uh, if I judge myself, at least it will come from a place uh, of a full comprehension of, okay, I'm judging myself based on, because I know what I've put in, what I've done, whatever the case might be. But for somebody else to judge you, like, there's no justifiable reason behind that. Surround yourself with supportive people, non-judgmental individuals. That's what we're saying. Um, People who are encouraging open communication. Um, what's on your mind? Can you want to hear what's on my mind? Are you sure you're not gonna judge me if I tell you what's on my mind? You sure you ready for this? Uh, Remove the Christian mind and let me talk to you as a person. Listen, everybody see things. When you say something, everybody listen and see things through a lens, and everybody don't have the same lens. So it's almost like, so when somebody judges, they judges based on how they perceive things, how through their perception. That's why you can say one thing to one person and they will hear one thing. Then you go in and repeat the same thing to the exactly word for word to another person, and they will completely hear something completely different. Why? Because we don't see things the same way. We don't hear things the same way. Why? Because we look at life, we look at people through different lenses. And so when you're surrounding yourself with people, uh, one of the things, ask yourself is, does this person come through like he's having a judgmental spirit? Do you have, firstly, hi, my name is Kendrick. Nice to meet you. Do you have a judgmental spirit? Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. You guys know I like to come on here and have fun, but it's true. That's just how life works. It's like everybody just kind of like, there are certain things that you will like about people. There's other stuff that you won't like about people. But people are people. My responsibility is know how to manage those different personalities or different kind of traits and how people communicate. That's my responsibility, and that's also your responsibility. Not to judge people based on how and who they are. No, do your job. I will do my job. And judging people is a part of it. All right, let's move on to that. I think we've got time for one more. Excuse me. We got time for one more. When you have misalignment of values, that can also become a barrier to effective communication. Listen, I am enjoying myself today. I don't know about whether I am having so much fun. All right, let's move on. Misalignment of values. Okay, if a person's values and beliefs are misaligned with others, if your values are not in line and your beliefs are not in line, so there can be kind of like conflict in communication breakdown. Not, I want to be careful how I say this, because many times when we look at things, something is right and something is wrong. Um, Over the past few years, I've kind of like, don't judge me on this. I've kind of like changed my way of thinking, how I see a right and wrong. Because how do you really? Because what is right to one person is wrong. It might be wrong to another person. But maybe that's not a issue of right or wrong. It's just an issue of values. Your values don't line up. What you believe is different from what I believe. So when we are communicating, we are communicating not face to face, but past each other, because we don't see eye to eye, based on our values and based on what we believe. So I then have no right to tell you that you are wrong. You have no right to tell me that I'm wrong. Why is that? Because you have different values than to me. Yeah, the way you communicate is just based on what you believe, and based on your values. So how can I tell you that you are wrong, or how can you tell me that I'm wrong? Uh, I know that's, I don't know how it's sitting with you, but just ponder on that. Um, but let's just be aware of the fact that um, when values and beliefs are misaligned, it can bring some kind of communication or issues. Okay, and when we are going through a period of change and growth, uh, that can be amplified. And when it's amplified, it kind of like, you don't want to uh, just kind of like push it aside. No, you want to pay attention to it, because it is important. All right. Now, how can we overcome that? How can we overcome that obstacle of misaligned beliefs and values during communication? Practice emotional intelligence. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Pay attention to your emotions when somebody is saying something. Um, Reflect on get some understanding um, when you are at that place of conflict in communication. Um, Remember last week we spoke about, is it last week or the week before? I can't remember now. We spoke about emotional intelligence. Um, it's something that you and I have to cultivate, because remember now, we are talking now about being at a place where you actually can understand the person that you're communicating with, not only based on mental understanding, but with the heart. What do you feel? Is it, uh, you know, say if you communicate with somebody and your beliefs and values does not line up, so there's some kind of conflict in your communication, but the way that you feel, the way I feel when I'm around this person, there's no negative malice kind of feeling. It's all peace. It's not like the person is out to get you or anything. It's just, you know, apply your emotional intelligence by paying attention to how you feel, and not just pay attention to what you hear, what is coming out of the person's mouth. No, listen to your heart. And I think when we kind of like lean towards that, you'll be able to find a middle ground. Because remember now, you are in a place where you are being stretched, you are going through change, you are uh, certain things are new to you, certain things are new to me, and uh, just hearing what a person is saying and I don't agree with what they are saying doesn't mean that I have to go off on a tangent and just be like all over the place. No, just rein yourself in. I gotta rein myself in. Okay, because it's just because of misalignment of values and beliefs. All right. So what are we saying? Just decide to agree and to disagree on certain topics. Otherwise, remember before we were talking about stress and anxiety. Otherwise, you will put some more stress on yourself, and you will be more anxious. Why? Because what you're saying is wrong. What I'm saying is right. No. All right. Let's agree that let's agree to disagree. All right. Shall we move on? All righty. All right, gentlemen. I think that's it for the evening. As I said, I had an amazing time just coming on here and just chilling, just relaxing with you guys. I must say, I miss the other guys, but obviously life is busy, and there's everybody just got all kind of things going on. But the show must go on. Just joking. Don't judge me now. All right. Okay. It was great being on you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. Let's do it again. Let's do it again next week. And have an amazing week. For whatever that's left of the holiday, um, yeah, just enjoy. And I will see you guys at the top. Over and out. Bye bye.